Hi friends, I've had a couple people email me and ask for help with the first digits assignments 13-5. So I'm going to do number 1 for you. Hopefully you've tried to help me solve this before you email me to see if you can get some help that way. And you probably should rewatch the video that I put in the presentation. But I'm going to go ahead and record me solving number 1. Remember, your numbers may not be the same in your digits problem that mine is. So you probably will not get the same answer because the numbers are different. But hopefully you should be able to learn how to do the problem by watching. So the problem asks to decompose the regular octagon into a rectangle and 2 trapezoids, and then figure out the area of the octagon. So we have the octagon over here, and it wants, what you can do if you want to be able to do this on paper is to trace this off your screen, or just draw a picture on your paper and then decompose it on your paper. So you've got an octagon. It's a regular octagon. That means all of the side lengths are even or equivalent, as well as the angles, and there are 8 sides. So to decompose this octagon into a rectangle and 2 trapezoids, I'm going to draw a line here from this vertex to this vertex, and here, from this vertex to this vertex. So now I have, if you, let me see if I can color these in so you can see what I'm looking at. Now I have this octagon right here, or excuse me, this trapezoid right here, and then I have, let me see if I can change the colors, this octagon right here, and I have this rectangle right here. Hopefully you can see that. So I have 2 trapezoids and a rectangle. I think I misspoke. The yellow is a trapezoid, the red is a trapezoid, and the blue is a rectangle. So I'm going to get rid of all that. So let's figure out the area of the rectangle. We know that the area of a rectangle, let me go back to my pencil, is base times height. So the height of this rectangle is going to be this line right here. And we know that that measurement is 5 meters. So height equals 5 meters for our rectangle. And we need to know the base. So we know from the edge to the center is 6.04 meters. So if the edge to the center is 6.04, that means this line right here, let me give a different color, is also going to be 6.04, okay, because they're parallel. So from the center to the edge is 6.04. So we should also know that from the center to this edge is going to be 6.04. So this line here should be 6.04 times 2. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator, and that gives me a base of 12.8. Okay, so the area of this rectangle right here is going to be 5 times 12.08. All right, which, when we put in our calculator, is going to be 60.4 meters squared. Okay, so that's the area of our rectangle. So I'm going to do a little erasing here, clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to pause this while I do that. Okay, I've cleared off my screen, and we can figure out the area of our trapezoids now. So I wrote in the area in my rectangle here so that we can remember that that's the area of that piece of the octagon. So now we have to figure out the area of the trapezoid. So let me do, let's see, we'll do green here. So we need to figure out this area of this trapezoid. So if you remember from the video, the area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 times the height, and then divide the whole thing by 2. So we need to know what is the base 1, which I'm going to call base 1 the top. What is the length of base 1? Well, if you remember, they told us that over here, that each side was 5. So if this side is 5, then this and this and this, all the sides are 5. So base 1 equals 5. Base 2 is this bottom line right here. And we learned before when we did the math to figure out this red bottom line of the rectangle that this was 12.08. Okay, remember it was the length from one side to the other, and we know that halfway is 6.04, so all the way is going to be 12.08. All right, and then we need to figure out what is the height of our trapezoid. Well, they gave us the height right here, okay, 3.54. So now all we need to do is plug these numbers into our formula. So base 1, 5, plus base 2, 12.08, times height, 3.54, and then we're going to divide that whole thing by 2. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator. 5 plus 12.08 equals 17.08. Multiply that times 3.54 gives us 60.4632. And then while that number is still in my calculator, I'm not going to hit clear. I'm just going to hit the divide and 2 and equals, and my answer is going to be 30.2316. Okay, that's the area of just one trapezoid, this trapezoid right here, okay, that I'm coloring in up here. So because this is a regular octagon, this trapezoid at the top is the same area as the trapezoid at the bottom. So to figure out the area of this both trapezoids, I'm going to take this 30.2316, which is the area of this guy here, and I'm also going to know that that's the area of this guy at the bottom. So to find the area of both, I'm going to multiply that times 2. Okay, so let me clear up my screen here and show you what we do next. Just a second. Okay, I've cleared up my screen, and what I did was I wrote my area that I figured out for my rectangle, which was this guy right here, if you remember. And then I wrote, I'm going to change colors, the area of the trapezoid that I figured out, which was this guy right here. And because the trapezoid and the at the top is the same area as the trapezoid at the bottom, I just rewrote that number a second time. So to figure out the area of all three of those parts, when we compose them back together, I'm just going to add these three numbers. And when I do that, I end up with 120, because you can do this in your calculator, 0.8632. So that's the area of the whole octagon. So we need to figure out if we need to round this. I'm going to erase this so I can read it. So it says the area of a regular octagon found by decomposing the octagon into rectangle and two trapezoids is, it says do not round until the final answer. So you notice I didn't round any of these numbers that I got until I got to the end. And then it says to round to the nearest hundredth as needed. So the hundredth place is the second digits. This is the tenths, this is the hundredths. So we need to round to the second digit after our decimal point. So we're going to look at the guy next door, which is a 3. So that tells us we need to keep our hundredths place the same as it is. We're not going to round up. So our answer is going to be 120.86 meters squared. Hopefully that helps. You can pause and rewatch this video as much as you need. If you have any further questions, let me know.